spend so much time trying to create the best worship experience that we can that I think it's important for us to come up with some clear ways to evaluate how successful we are at that on any given Sunday. So that when somebody asks, hey, how did it go Sunday morning? Instead of just saying, well, I guess it went okay, we've got some concrete ways to figure that out. There are 4 questions that I ask myself when I'm evaluating how Sunday morning worship went. And the first one is, was the good news of Jesus proclaimed with passion, sincerity, and joy? A church, first and foremost, should be preaching the gospel, the good news about Jesus. You should never sit through a Christian church service and walk out unclear about what Jesus is about. So we should be intentional about declaring and celebrating who Jesus is, what Jesus has done, and the difference that it makes in our lives. So that means, for example, we shouldn't be singing songs that have vague, unfocused lyrics that could be about anybody. Or that we shouldn't be talking about God in some nebulous, abstract way that people can interpret however they want. We need to read the Bible, we need to teach it, and we need to honor it. So the first question I always ask myself when we get done on a Sunday morning is, was the gospel declared and explained with passion, sincerity, and joy? And to follow that, question number 2 is, was Jesus lifted up over all other people, events, and agendas? You might think I'm repeating myself here, but let me explain. Years ago, I was part of a church that, to be perfectly honest, was all about growing as fast as they could, as quickly as possible. And yes, the music was great, the preaching was amazing, people were being baptized, fine. But I couldn't shake the feeling that this church was just as much about itself and the senior pastor as it was about Christ. There was always some big event or some new program, always some high-profile service project or a new TV promo or some new book coming out by the senior pastor. There was always something that the church was hyping up and promoting and patting itself on the back about. And while none of those things are bad by themselves, I became convinced that somewhere along the line there were some priorities that were kind of whack. So I believe that a church, again, should be about Jesus, but that he needs to be lifted up above all other people or programs or agendas or events. And that's a fine line for any church to walk, because a thriving, vibrant church should have stuff going on. But deep down, are you doing those things in order to celebrate and connect people with God? Or are you doing those things because look how cool we are? So it's something to be conscious of and for us to constantly be asking ourselves. On to question 3. Did the congregation sing well and engage in worship? Recently, I read this book called Sing by Keith and Kristen Getty, advocating the power and significance of a congregation singing aloud. Corporate singing has been a lasting tradition in every culture on earth forever. There's a reason that countries all over the world sing their national anthems together. How do we learn our ABCs? We sing them. How do we teach our kids stories and nursery rhymes? We sing them. Singing together is powerful. It binds us in a shared identity, it unifies us in purpose, and it connects on a deeper level with our souls. And no matter how good or bad we sound on stage, it almost doesn't matter if we can get the congregation to sing. So whatever your area of service is on a Sunday morning, serve with the mindset of doing everything you can to get the congregation involved and engaged in worship. And then the last question is the one that we're so tempted to ask first, but I intentionally keep for last. Did the production run smoothly? Now we're into all those nitty-gritty details. Did the band play well? Did the singers sing well? Did the song arrangements come together like they were supposed to? Was the sound mix clear and balanced? Did the technical things like the lights and the videos and the slides work properly? All of the detailed stuff that most people don't even notice, but it's so easy for us to obsess over. I forced this question to be last. Question 1, was the gospel preached? Question number 2, was Jesus exalted over everything else? Question number 3, did the congregation sing and engage? If you ask those 3 questions first, it'll keep you from obsessing over things that honestly don't matter as much as we think they do. Yes, we want to have a professional production on Sunday. Yes, we want to pursue excellence in what we do to honor the Lord. But if you laser focus on the nitpicks first, then you can easily fall into the trap of perfectionism, which is not the same as pursuing excellence. One of those things is good. The other one will mess you up. So those are the 4 questions that I use to evaluate how good or bad worship was on a Sunday morning. I want to re-emphasize that we have to keep the main thing as the main thing. At the end of the day, as long as Jesus is being celebrated and shared, and we're encouraging people to join in and participate with that, we win. So what do you guys think? What other questions or metrics should we be using to determine how we're doing as a worship team? Let me know in the comments below, and feel free to share this video with any people you might know that are in ministry or just people you think might benefit from it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay cool, stay blessed, stay in touch.